Sholem Aleichem, friends, Tayere Yidden, Tayere Brider, Tayere Hasidim. We've heard the word Siyum. It's become a very popular word in the last several years. Of course, Siyum Hashas, Siyum Harambam, Siyum Mesechtes, popular word. But a Siyum on a Chelek of the Rebbe's Likkutei Sichos, this is a Chidush, and this is a wonderful, long overdue Chidush. And to all of you that studied, Chizku ve'imtzu, may you all be gebenched, b'teich Klal Yisrael. May you be zoiche to go from the Siyum on this Likkutei Sichos, to go and dance into the Geula, and celebrate the Siyum Hagolus, u'malkeinu b'roshenu, wishing you all Kabbalas HaTorah b'simcha b'pnimiyus.
There's so much to talk about when it comes to the milestones of this project and all the great things that it's generated. The website that's up to date, the incredible resources every week, the shiurim, the WhatsApp chats, you name it.
This initiative is known as Project Likkutei Sichos, and it has the very noble and I think necessary goal of uniting Jews from all over the world in learning the Rebbe's Torah with a new geschmack and excitement and vigor, and specifically with the goal of completing the entirety of Likkutei Sichos in the course of 8 years.
Some people think when they hear about this project of learning the entire Likkutei Sichos, starting with 2 sichos a week, this is not for me, this is too difficult, too much of a commitment, and it's not going to happen. I have to tell you, the level of diversity of people signing up, from shluchim and Rosh Yeshivas, to balibatim that are working, to women with young children, Mikuravim and Chabad houses, and everybody in between, proves to us that this is a project really for every single person. Nobody could be able to honestly say, this is not for me.
If someone would tell you that Tafshin Pei, the Chayes of Lubavitch would be Likkutei Sichos across the board, I think it's moedadik.
First of all, simple, this is his kashrus. Because as we know from letters of the Frierdiker Rebbe and of the Rebbe, that the real hiskashrus of the Rebbe is through learning the Rebbe's Torah. Because the Rebbe put himself into the Torah that he wrote.
The Rebbe sat for hours and hours teaching Torah to us so that he can guide us, direct us, educate us, enlighten us. It's an amazing source of nachas ruach, because through this, the Rebbe's message actually reaches us. We connect with the Rebbe in the deepest way, and we take the Rebbe's words more seriously.
Just the chayas in learning itself. I don't believe that even when I was in yeshiva, I had that same chayas, particularly in learning the Rebbe in the ha'aris, the kach and the ha'aris, and understanding the tremendous lumdis pashat that's in the ha'aris, and being able to be in my makom hashlichus and still be able to feel like I'm back in yeshiva at Aseda Sichos with all these people learning and kaching in the Rebbe Sichos is very, very special to me and to my family and to my shlichus. So thank you very much to Project Likkutei Sichos.
This project of studying Likkutei Sichos globally, together in an organized fashion, whether it takes 8 years, 10 years, 6 years, that's really not so important. The project itself is absolutely long overdue. And this will really increase our awareness and our understanding of who we are and what our mission is and how to be Chassidim in the Deit HaShvi'i.
A Siyum, the Rebbe tells us, is not just an end. It's a stepping stone, a graduation to go to a next level. So maskifin, Siyum al-Haschola, may this Siyum lead to go Mechayel el Choyel, from strength to strength, to the next volume and the next volume, and on until we mola oretz deis Hashem kamayim layom mechasim, filling the entire world with divine knowledge as the waters cover the sea with the coming of Mashiach and the Geula ha'amitis v'ashlema. Afreilich and Shavuos, Kabbalas HaTorah b'simcha b'pnimiyus, this hachana to Matan Torah will surely increase both in kamus and in echus, in quantity and quality, the spreading and the learning and spreading of Torah, and bring it down to mitzvahs, together with hakadomis avedas atfilah, and be zeichet to bring the geula hamitis v'hashlema.
Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Haboim, and thank you for joining us at this milestone event, the Chagigas Siyum of Likkutei Sichos Chelek Yud-Beis, that was learned by hundreds and thousands of Yidden and Chassidim around the world. In a Yechidus, to the Orchim, to the guests who came for Shavuos Tavshin Memches, the Rebbe said that although we are all living in our own places, physically distant from one another, nevertheless, in truth, we are all connected because we are all fulfilling the mission that the Eibishter gave us and placed us in our specific place to do that mission, that shlichus, and to help another Yid. However, from time to time, we must gather together to connect, to reconnect, especially around Shabbos and Yom Tov, and especially around the Yom Tov of Shavuos, which comes, as the Pasuk says, after the words, Vayichan Shom Yisrael neged Har, when the Yidden were gathered by Har Sinai, Keish echad b'lev echad. In the Yechidus, the Rebbe says that we're going to share some words of Torah, and we're going to remember the times that we spent together here at 770. And because of that, the fact that we are distant from one another physically doesn't negatively affect the Achdus. On the contrary, it creates gaguim. It creates a longing and a yearning to be together. And it just brings us closer. Tonight, we are gathered together, though physically distant, spiritually connected, through the learning of Torah that we've done together, and the gaguim that we have towards each other, and the gaguim that we have to be together in 770 with the Rebbe, hearing Torah Chadasha Me'iti Teitzeh. In this Rega Katan, as we've learned Likkutei Sichos together, and we've completed an entire Chelek, we're celebrating. We have caused the Rebbe Nachas. We have connected to each other. So before we get started, as it is a Farbrengen, please take out a little bit of L'chaim, and let us say L'chaim together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'hakol niyeh b'dvarei. L'chaim, L'chaim. May we be zeicha to celebrate this Siyum and many more Siyumim, and most importantly, the Siyum of this Galus. And we should march together with our Likkutei Sichos to the Geula Amitis V'Ashleima Teikef U'Miyad. L'chaim, L'chaim. Wherever you are, please say L'chaim together with whoever you're with. And may the Eibishter fulfill all of your wishes, all of your heart's desires. L'teva v'livracha. A few months ago, this seemed like a theoretical concept to start learning on a weekly basis, everyone together learning the Likkutei Sichos. But the tshuka, the desire and the yearning of Anash and Chassidim to learn and to connect, took this concept, took this project, and it lifted it up onto its own plane, and it's been going and growing ever since. And today, each and every one of you who have learned, each and every one of you who have finished, is being honored, is being celebrated, and Mazel Tov and Yasher Koyach to you. Before we begin the program, allow me to share with you that we have prepared a tshuda, a memento, for all of the participants of the Farbrengen. The tshuda is a Pirsum Rishon, a compilation of never before published answers, some in the Rebbe's Ksav Yad Kodesh, in the Rebbe's holy handwriting, responding to the Manichim or editing the Sichos as they were being prepared for publication. A big Yasher Koyach to the Manichim who've shared these treasures with us, and to those who have prepared these writings in a way that we can understand them and enjoy them, and give us a glimpse into the Rebbe's intimate involvement in the preparation of each and every likut, of each and every sikha. Tovei aleim bracha, and may it increase our excitement and our passion in the learning that we are doing. And now we begin our program with Poischin B'dvar Malchus, a video of the Rebbe. The video is from Purim Tavshin Lamed Beis, where the Rebbe speaks about the intrinsic connection of every Yid with Limud HaTorah. And even if one may think that they are not capable of it, it's beyond them. What they should do is they should try to learn, and they will see what will happen, and they will discover their intrinsic connection to Limud HaTorah.
Du hast eine was Steinen, aus dem liegt ist nicht der Kopf zu lernen Teile. Und sei wie sehr zu setzen und lernen Teile wird sich nicht können reinlegen. Und teilische Balper kommen damit gar nicht in Tufton. Bis als Leoda Mai kommen, sagt mir mal Safal bekein, du sollst sich lernen. Und danach wird mir sagen, ich denke, einmal erzählt, und der Totteiner aber kontra, dass gekommen zu Siyum, Pesach in Schule. Der gesehen, dass gekommen nach Jid und hat gebracht mit sich ein kleines Kind, ein Pitzelkind auf der Hand. Ein Kind von einem Jahr, von 2. Fragt beim, was tut da der Kind, das darf so sein mit der Mutter. Antwortet ihm der Vater, dass der Kind ist abgehört. Und als will ihm geben dort den Milch, das was mir gibt, ein Kind von einem Jahr soll essen, 2 Jahre. Milch will soll hören dem Siyum. Fragt bei ihm, versteht dass ich kann kein Niedisch, ich sage ihm mal frisch, so als wir Panimai, versteht was mit Messiaim sein. Hat ihm geantwortet der Vater, als wie Japanimai. Er allein versteht sich nicht, und deswegen kommt es zu gehen, während dem Siyum. Mir kann bringen sein 2-jährigen Kind dahin. Was hast du gesagt, Kaish Poshet Kipschute, als versteht nicht, aber aufbekommen, was ist Herrn Beschass, nicht sein bei Siyum. Sie dort dabei Ayid, was hört und versteht, wenn Mele dafür bringt dem sein Chor, soll das echt hören. Sie dort bist als Maten Teire. Wie sie gewähnt ist, Maten Teire sehen nicht, wo sie gewähnt, der Linie, was man gehört, dem Dibur, und danach gewähnt, auch Kol Dibur, Dibur, Porchen nicht mossen. Als Porchen nicht mossen, mit der Schach ist der Linie von Jidie, was so gewohnt, hat die Nischome nicht beguckt. I demol gewähnt beide in Jahren, sie gewähnt, was mir gehört dem Dibur und beschaßen Dibur, Nafshi, Jotze, Bedabre, mit dem Dibur gegangen zusammen mit Porchen Nishmossen. Und wie durch sie, das ist mir weil, was hat genommen Teire, hat nicht genommen nur das, was sie haben verstanden, die Werte von Aseres Adibris, nur das, was Porchen Nishmossen. Und das gewähnt der Linien von See Messias Nefesh, demol, was hat gemacht, der Echelu Lassi, das Schole von Kabbalah Satele. Weil der sehe ich, starke Limud HaTorah muss einmal wohnen, was sage, aber was nimmt Torah, das, was beschaß setzt sich lernen, wer beim Bepashtus, das geht lernen dem ewigsten Torah. Und sie wird ja verstehen, sie nicht verstehen, aber sagt ein Wort, das dann, Lesheni im Rasecho, und das chazert lieber auf dem Wort, was der Ewigste hat ihm gesagt, beschaß machen Torah, und danach beschaß Jeshe v'Shene, ist HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Keile v'Shene, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Keile v'Shene Kenegdi.
Project Likkutei Sichos has spanned the globe, reaching countries and continents and all types of people from all walks of life. Men, women, and children, young and old, the beginner, the novice, the advanced learner, and even those who have been learning Likkutei Sichos their entire life. I would like to invite a teacher and a Talmud to discuss and share the journey that they have taken with Likkutei Sichos. A few years ago at a kinus, I remember Rabbi Shalom Moshe Paltiel of Port Washington sharing passionately how important it is in today's day and age that every one of us begin our day, or if not in the beginning of the day, have a kvius, have a designated time, and a kvius bizman and a kvius benefesh, something that is permanent in time and something that is permanent in our soul, to learn every day from the Rebbe's Torah. So it was only natural that as the project launched, Rabbi Shalom Moshe Paltiel incorporated the study of Likkutei Sichos in his own life and invited some of the members of his Chabad house to join with him. So I would like to invite Rabbi Shalom Moshe Paltiel and Mr. Arnie Herz to allow us to peek in to their conversation as they look back at the last few weeks and months learning Likkutei Sichos. Rabbi Paltiel, Mr. Arnie Herz.
Thank you, Rabbi Gurari, for that wonderful introduction. Okay, Shalom Aleichem. It's great to be here to join the Siyum of this amazing project, Likkutei Sichos. I have no words of gratitude and yasher koach to the organizers for doing something that should have happened decades ago. And here we are mobilizing thousands of Hasidim and Jews all over the world to really get involved in a deep way in the Rebbe's Torah and the Sichos on a weekly basis. It's totally extraordinary. I saw when the campaign was launched and they were hoping for 770 people. And I think now on Ein Hara, we're close to 6,000. So yasher koach, there's no words of the nachas ruach that you're giving to the Rebbe. Anyone who witnessed the Farbrengen or sees a video sees how the Rebbe put his whole life into his teachings. As children, we would sit under the Rebbe's table at the Farbrengen and we saw the hand movement, which you don't see at the top of the table. The Rebbe's hands were under the table, but under the table, the Rebbe's hands were moving. He was totally living the teachings, living the question on the Rashi and the answer on the Rashi. And tzaddikim doimen lebeidam, the tzaddikim are in the manner of their creator, and you could say, like it says about Hashem himself, "Ano nafshi ksavis yavis," that he put his whole soul into his Torah. Similarly, tzaddikim and the Rebbe puts his neshama, his pleasure, his neshama itself into his Torah. And how much nachas ruach and how much displeasure the Rebbe showed when he would talk sichos and there wasn't so much interest and nobody was bothered by questions or answers. And often the Rebbe would challenge us with questions and wait till the next Shabbos and give us the answer. The Rebbe wanted to train us to understand that when he's teaching us something, there's depth in it. And he wanted to bring out that geschmack. And I can only imagine the tremendous nachas that the Rebbe has, that thousands of Yidden, Chassidim and others all over the world, men and women, are every week learning 2 or 3 sichos and somewhat in depth. It's hard to imagine what a nachas ruach that is giving to our Rebbe. I'm going to quote Rabbi Yoel Zal Zayin Gesund, that he talks about, it says in Hayom Yom, the famous thing that his kashrus, ayadei limud Torah, that the main connection that a chassid has to a Rebbe, there's many methods of connection to the Rebbe through following his teachings and the various minhagim, customs of Chassidim, etc. But the main attachment is through studying his Torah. Much as the main attachment of a Yid to Hashem is through studying Torah. So Rabbi Yoel once said that someone told him, he said, for Haskalah, for the deep intellectual pursuits of Chassidus, I study the teachings of the Rebbe Rashab. For Avodah, for the emotional personal growth, I study the teachings of the previous Rebbe. And for his kashrus, for connection, I study the Rebbes. So Rabbi Yoel said to him, I don't understand. If you already gave away your mind to the Rebbe Rashab and your heart to the Frierdiker Rebbe, what are you giving the Rebbe? Just your lips? Obviously, when it says that teaching, studying the Rebbe's Torah is his kashrus, a connection means mind and heart and soul. And here we are, Yidden all over the world, and Chassidim studying the Rebbe's teaching on a weekly basis and having real his kashrus, really attaching mind and heart to our Rebbe in a really very meaningful way. I'm very proud to say as well that as a shliach in Port Washington, I decided when this campaign came out that I want to share it with my community. What right do I have just to keep it for myself? The Rebbe is the Rebbe of all Yidden, and not just us, and certainly those who come to a Chabad house. Every Yid is a Chabadnik, and certainly the Yidden who come to a Chabad house, they're definitely the Rebbe's Chassidim. So I reached out, I sent an email, I don't know the number, maybe 20 or 30 people who I felt are capable of this type of learning, and I introduced the project. And 7 or 8 people from the Chabad house joined this project and started learning the Sichos every week. And we have a Seder that every Monday afternoon we get together on a shir. Now it's on a Zoom, and we review the sichos. They learn it on their own, and we review both or one of the sichos of that week, and it's been an unbelievable thing. So I have with me today one of the Yidden of that group, I would say the leader of that group, a dear friend and a chashuv balabas by the name of Aaron Ben Shlomo, who is a powerful attorney, well-regarded attorney in his field. He's one of the tough negotiators out there, and he's done a lot, very successful in that world. And someone who over the years, slowly but surely, grew in his Yiddishkeit. And I know him, I think, for a dozen years, something like that, maybe a little more. And finally became Shomer Shabbos about 18 months ago. And he joined this project of Likkutei Sichos. And not only he joins, but every week after the class, he writes up like a hanacha, a little short description of it. So I'm honored to invite him to be part of this Siyum, and I want to ask him to share with us a few thoughts. Arnie, please share with us, what is your experience? How has this helped you in your life, and what's the experience been like studying Likkutei Sichos?
Thank you, Rabbi, and welcome everyone. It's great to see you, even though I can't see you physically right now, but I'm imagining you sitting out there, and that you'll be watching this and listening to this. And you know, Rabbi, it's been just unbelievable experience that I wasn't expecting. You know, little did I realize that COVID would come along soon after we started this project. And as a result of this, from a 30,000-foot view, I have been so much more focused. And as a result, I've learned so much and been able to be a much better support for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my clients, and for my community, and all the different things that I've been involved with. It's really impacted me on such a deep level.
So I know you're someone who has learned Torah over the years. Maybe you can share something unique that you find in the Likkutei Sichos, in that study of this particular area of Torah.
I think the number one thing for me that sort of jumps out for me is, and what I realize now, is this entering into the mind of a tzaddik. Now, how does a tzaddik process the world is so different than anything I had been exposed to previously. And as a result of this, I think that I've been really surprised by 5 main points. One is the thoroughness and intensity of the questions, that this is not blind faith. This is brutally honest questioning. I'm shocked at how the Rebbe questions things that the sages and great rabbis of the past have come up with. And number 2 is the attention to the details that I would have never seen. I'm a very detail-oriented person. Incredible how much more detail is noticed that I wouldn't have ever known about. The third, and this is a very significant point in the legal world, is his ability to harmonize seemingly irreconcilable conflicts. And he does that, which is my 4th point, in a way that never makes anyone wrong, but always brings out different aspects and shades of meaning and nuance. And last, the ability to take these loftiest concepts and show how essentially relevant they are to all of our daily lives. General, but particularly now, how relevant this wisdom is.
Thank you so much. Wow. How would you say, if I asked you what's a takeaway, what's one of the important or a few important takeaways that you get from the learning?
Well, first is I'm learning Torah at a completely different level. Every week there's a whole aspect of the Torah Parsha that I would have never known about, and I'm learning that content, and I'm not just learning it from an intellectual perspective. As I said before, I'm learning it and it's applicable into my life. It's uncanny how every single week talks about a topic that's exactly relevant to what's happening in the world and in my world and other people's world, in a way I'm able to help them. So, of course, I'm learning Torah at a completely different level. The other thing too, which is again a huge surprise, I've been practicing law for 28 years in a very, very analytical, strategic thinking practice. that requires a lot of thinking and analyzing and strategizing. And I'm also a very avid chess player. I play way too much chess. And so I went into this course thinking, I really know how to think. And after being in this course for approximately 15 minutes, I felt like I was in kindergarten. But then I realized, that's not fair, but I'm really in high school. And this course is the PhD course. And it's totally taking my thinking to a completely different level of analysis for some of the same exact reasons that I just mentioned beforehand. Like really making my mind razor sharp in a way that I hadn't seen beforehand.
Asher Koyach, Rabbi Peltiel and Arnie, thank you for that beautiful discussion and that so wonderfully portrayed impact of Likkutei Sichos, the 5 details, so very, very specially put, and we greatly appreciate you sharing that with us tonight. I would like to ask our next presenter to come up and speak. Our next presenter is a member of the Shchuna of Kansiva Shemes Abracha, a Chassidish Balabos, and someone who, in addition to learning Likkutei Sichos in his place of work, and someone who, in addition to learning Likkutei Sichos in his place where he davens, has also come on to be a supporter of the project. Rabbi Shlomi Greenwald, Yasher Koyach, for all the support you have given and continue to give to Project Likkutei Sichos, whether it's the financial support or the moral support or the other things that you do for the project. Yasher Koyach, Hashem should bench you for everything that you've done, for everything that you do. And if you would please honor us with sharing a few words about learning Likkutei Sichos and about supporting the project. Rabbi Shlomi Greenwald.
My name is Shlomi Greenwald. I live here in Crown Heights. When I heard about Project Likkutei Sichos the first time, I right away had to get in touch with the organizers to find out who is behind this project, who's funding the project, as we know all the content and all the shiurim out there, it must have cost a tremendous amount of money. And I wanted to know who's behind it. So I got in touch with the organizers, and I asked the organizers, who is the sponsor? And the organizers said, we don't have a sponsor. I said, great, I'm going to be your sponsor. And a few days later, the organizers of Project Likkutei Sichos came to my house. We had a beautiful farbrengen, and they gave me the opportunity to be the official sponsor of Likkutei Sichos, of Project Likkutei Sichos. And Baruch Hashem, it's an opportunity that it's a big zchus to be part of the Rebbe's Teiros, to be part of so much what the Rebbe put himself into was Likkutei Sichos. And I want to thank the organizers very much for allowing that and allowing me to be part of it, and my family. Personally, I'm not only involved with Likkutei Sichos in a financial way, but I'm also very involved in learning the Sichos, teaching the Sichos. Every day in my office, we have a shir for 45 minutes in the Sicha. We learn it quite well with everyone together, and questions and answers and arguments. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. As well as in my shul, every Friday night, I give a shir as well to about 15 mispalalim that come and want to learn and be part of Project Likkutei Sichos. So I just want to encourage everybody, or anyone who has not yet become part of the Project Likkutei Sichos, especially as a chassid, as we know that Rabbeim told us that the way to connect to them is through learning their Teiros. And there's nothing more befitting for us chassidim, for us to connect to our Nasi Dereinu, is through learning the Rebbe's Teiros. Project Likkutei Sichos gave us and gives us the opportunity to learn the Rebbe's Teiros in any way or any level you want. There's 5-minute shiurim, there's 10-minute shiurim, there's a share inside, there's a share outside, there's a share li'iyuna. Any level you want, Project Likkutei Sichos makes that happen.
Thank you, Shlomi. The Eibusher should bench you, begasmis, benuchdias. should have much hatzlacha in all of your endeavors, and especially in teaching Likkutei Sichos and learning Likkutei Sichos and in sharing the knowledge and the messages of Likkutei Sichos with your family, with the members in your shul, and with whoever, with your office, and with whoever else you're able to reach. One of the things that Project Likkutei Sichos tries to do is to prepare and offer shiurim so that those who are not able or those who would like to learn together with listening to a shir are able to listen to a shir and learn the sicha that way. Baruch Hashem, we are able to offer a variety, a plethora of types of shiurim. There's the regular shir or the main shir, which is a shir from the text of the sicha. Then there is the 10-minute shir and the summaries. We recently started something called the full sicha, which is basically going through the entire sicha, but without the text of the sicha. Sicha Insight, which is geared for a more beginner's crowd, that takes one insight of the sicha and shares it and explains it in a very understandable and easy to access manner. Then there's Sicha Discourse, which depending on the Magid Shir might be each time a little bit different, but primarily it's meant to give a full overview of the Sicha and prepare it in a professional way, set over that even someone who doesn't have so much experience in learning Sicha should be able to follow. And many of these options are offered in many languages. Besides for English, there's Hebrew, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and now we started at least a Sicha summary in Italian, Russian on some weeks. In the Mitzvah Hashem, it'll become a regular thing. So it's an appropriate time, if any time was appropriate, to give a Yashar Koyach to the Magidei Shiurim. Many of the Magidei Shiurim, all the Magidei Shiurim are shluchim or businessmen or klei kodesh that have a job that they do during the day, that they do whenever they do their jobs, and they do them well. And this is something that they do in their free time, so to speak, to be able to avail hundreds and thousands of learners to be able to learn the Sicha on their level. So Yashar Koyach to the Magidei Shiurim, and may the Eibishter bench you to be able to teach Torah and to learn Torah and to be able to continue to spread the Rebbe's Torah and Torah in general to all of your Talmidim and to all of your Mushpoim and to all those whose influence you reach. One of the Magidei Shiurim from the Sicha Discourse channel is Rabbi Yosef Chaim Cantor, Shliach in Thailand, and Rabbi Yosef Chaim is our guest speaker for the night. Rabbi Cantor, please.
You know, historians will look back and they'll see, well, February 2020, that's when the Project Likkutei Sichos, the universal global initiative to study the 8-year cycle of studying the Rebbe's Sichos started. That must have been an immediate reaction to the things that were taking place in February 2020, where COVID, the virus, was spreading rampantly across the world. That must have been a good resolution that the Chabad community took upon themselves to protect and to bring healing and blessing to the world. Of course, the historians will be absolutely wrong in terms of what happened, the chronology and the cycle of events. The project Likkutei Sichos was born because it was Yud Shvat, the 70th year of the Rebbe's, the anniversary of the Rebbe's leadership of Yud Shvat, and therefore this desire all of a sudden welled up amongst a few dedicated Hasidim. Let's open up the Rebbe's teachings to the world so that everybody can have an opportunity to study the body of the Rebbe's teachings in 8 years. And it just happened to be, what we know now, it just happened to be the same time that the virus was spreading. America was still not very concerned about it. Yud Shvat. I was in New York at the Rebbe's Ohel on Yud Shvat. I traveled back home after Yud Shvat. Hong Kong was worried. We traveled through Hong Kong and we were worried with masks. But the initiative was born unrelated, as far as we knew at the time, to the changed conditions of the world that the rampant virus was bringing. But those historians, the Hasidic historians, won't actually be wrong, because no question, at least the way it seems to me, that the hakdama of the refuah to the machla, that this initiative is definitely something of refuah, of healing, and definitely Hashem put it into the minds and hearts of those who initiated this project at the right time. At a time where A, the world needs healing, and Torah brings healing to the world. B, the world has had much more time for learning, for being at home, and the incredible resources that this website, the shiurim, all the kinds of classes in English and Hebrew, in languages, in-depth, not in-depth, discourse, even the slideshows, unbelievable. People have time to adapt to it, to get familiar with the website, to make it a part of their learning regimen, so that even when we emerge from having this amount of time and being in quarantine, I think there's no question that this will already become something that's firmly entrenched in the world of Chabad and those that want to learn the world of Chabad. And this is going to be something that's just part of our regular learning cycle. So yes, did it come because of the virus? Not the way it unfolded in real time, but is it true to say that this is related? I believe that Hashem put it as a antidote to what we're going through. Now here's the thing, the $1 million question is, what would the Rebbe say about this condition of the virus in the world? And here's the $3 trillion answer. You know, now that with all the stimulus packages, we've started talking trillions. The $3 trillion answer is, you want to know what the Rebbe not just would have said, but what the Rebbe is saying? So look into his teachings. We know from the upcoming Shavuos that Ano, Nafshi, Kasovis, Yehovis. We know that the Torah is where Hashem has placed his true being, his essence. And so it is with Tzaddikim, that their essence, who they are, is put into the Torah that they teach and they shared with us. And these edited talks of the Rebbe in the Likkutei Sichos, by learning it, you truly inculcate and you truly absorb the message that the Rebbe has to the world in every time, and certainly we will find encouragement, inspiration, and guidance in the sichos that we are learning by divine providence at this particular juncture. Every week, we can all find messages that are as pertinent and as relevant and as inspirational and as guidance-filled as they were when they were said and they were written. The time is now. Let's take the message of contagion. Let's spread this to those that know us, to those that have contact with us. Spread the wealth. Don't keep it to yourself. This gift of learning the Rebbe's teachings in a systematic way, the gift of this tremendous website with its resources, spread it. Let's spread the wealth and the good and the Torah, and let's merit to have the ultimate revelation of Torah when Mashiach comes speedily in our days.
Yasher Koyach, Rabbi Cantor. You said it so interesting, so you put it so perfectly, but the Hashgacha Pratis, that when we go into a project, we don't truly comprehend the extent of the Hashgacha Pratis. I just want to mention on this topic of Hashgacha Pratis that when the project was launching, there was a discussion about which Svarim to begin with. Where should we start from? We wanted to go along our Parshas HaShavua, but of course there's many Beshalachs in Likkutei Sichos, and ultimately we decided, we discussed it with Mashpiyim, and the decision was made, we should start with these Chalakim, from Yud through Yud Daled, and practically the idea was that we should be able to finish all 5 Krachim in 1 year. Yes, that they're small, short krachim, short volumes. We would be able to finish 5 volumes in a year. Anyway, shortly after the decision was made, someone brought to our attention, one of the guys who were working on the project, I believe it was Rabbi Levi Greenberg from El Paso, pointed out that in the Pesach Davar of the Sefer, it points out that these Sichos, in the first time they were published in the years of Tavshin Lamed Gimel and on, which is the year, as it says in the Pesach Davar, Shnas Hashivim Likvektushas Admur Shlita. And this to us was a very powerful message, because here was a project that was starting specifically in connection with the Shivim Shana of the Rebbe's Nesius. And right here, punkt, without even realizing, Hashgacha Pratis, the Sichos that we were learning were the Sichos that came out during Shnas HaShivim. Additionally, over the course of time, as the situation unfolded, on a number of occasions, we came to see the direct connection between the Sikha that we were learning and what was going on around us. One of the classic examples was the Sikha of Pekudei that came right in the middle between Purim and Pesach, when the situation was very difficult, and the Sikha was about the role of Moshe Rabbeinu, the role of a Rebbe, and the discussion was in the Sikha was Misha Yashle Chele Bebeisei Yelich Etzel Chacham Beir Vivakesh Lev Rachmim, that one who has someone who is ill in his house can go to the Chacham Beir, which the Rebbe explains in the Sikha means the Rebbe, to be Mevakesh Rachamim, to bring down Rachamim for this person for healing. And the idea that what was going on in our homes and what was going on in the world around us was so directly addressed in the Sikha that we were learning that week was extremely strengthening and extremely uplifting during the difficult time. Incidentally, or nothing is incidental, but B'Hashgacha Pratis, the Sikha of Pesach mentions the idea about someone who doesn't have anyone in the house to whom to ask the questions, the fear kashas. And unfortunately, there were those this year that celebrated Pesach and made their Seder, and they had nobody physically in the room with them to ask the kashas too. And finding that discussion in the Sikha and the direct connection between what we were learning on a weekly basis, what was going on in our lives, was very, very comforting.
I want to wish a special mazel tov to all of the Messiahim of Project Likkutei Sichos. The Eber should bench all of us to continue learning and growing, accomplishing more in the Rebbe's Torah. We should finish more chalakim of Likkutei Sichos, and that should eventually bring b'meira b'yameinu to the Gula Shlema, have the Rebbe back, and we'll be able to hear new Sichos, Torah Chadasha. So join with us. We're going to sing a few nigunim that came out during the years of these Sichos, and we'll start off with Sheibane, and join with us. Yehi Ratzoi, Yehi Ratzoi, Yehi Ratzoi, Yehi Ratzoi Milafonechom, Yashem Eloikeinu Veloikei Avoiseinu. Sheyibone b'samigdal v'meira v'yomeinu v'sein chelkeinu b'seir asecho. Sheyibone b'samigdal v'meira v'yomeinu v'sein chelkeinu b'seir asecho. Oy oy, sheyibone b'samigdal v'meira v'yomeinu v'sein chelkeinu b'seir asecho. Sheyibone b'samigdal v'meira v'yomeinu v'sein chelkeinu b'seir asecho. Sheyibone b'samigdash v'meira v'yomeinu v'sein chelkeinu b'seir asecho.
שיבונה ביסמי גדושן הירו ויומנו סייך אלוקינו בסיר הסכו אוי בגבורויס השם אלוקים אזכיר צדקתו לבדך אוי בגבורויס השם אלוקים אזכיר צדקתו לבדך אוי בגבורויס השם אלוקים ויזכיר צדקתו לבדך אוי בגבורויס השם אלוקים ויזכיר צדקתו לבדך Hashem Elokim ויזכיר צדקתו לבדך אוי בגבורויס השם אלוקים ויזכיר צדקתו לבדך Terali no sitposai ki azamrolo vi benafshi asher podiso vi gam sheni kolayoy tegeti yikosecho ki boishu ki khokru mevakshe rosi terali no sitposai ki azamrolo benafshi asher podiso terani no sitposai ki azamrolo benafshi asher podiso oy gam sheni kolayoy tegeti yikosecho ki boishu ki khokru mevakshe rosi Yom Motzadi, Verim Sholim Adioreya, Oy V'yem Yom Adyom, Oy Yumin Nahor Adav Seyoret, Ufono V'yichreutzim, V'oy V'om Por Yilachechu, Oy V'yem Yom Adyom, Oy Yumin Nahor Adav Seyoret, Ufono V'yichreutzim, V'oy V'om Por Yilachechu, V'yimidli v'shomayim V'im chol echopatzi boret V'yimidli v'shomayim V'im chol echopatzi boret V'yem miyom ad yom V'yumin nahor adav seyoret V'bono v'yichreutzi Oy baba for yilachechu oy 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 oy
Akopanim, we've come to the moment that we've all been waiting for. Ois in Siyum, the Gemara Shalteira. We're all here to celebrate the Siyum. We're going to make a Siyum to complete Chelek Yud-Beis and to be mechabed with the Siyum. Our Chasan Teira of tonight is a Rav Fishel Aster, who has been giving shiurim from the beginning of the project, week in and week out, every single week. A shiur in the pnim of the Sikha, a shiur, a 10-minute shiur, a summary of the Sikha, and Rav Fishel with all of his knowledge and ability to not just share the Sikha so clearly and so beautifully, but also to explain it to others on the forums and those who reach out to him, is certainly a very, very special addition to the project, very special part of the project, and we give him a Yashar Kayach. And at this time I would like to call on Reb Fishel to make the Siyum on Chelek Yud-Beis.
Baruch Hashem, we are celebrating the Siyum of Chelek Yud-Beis of Likkutei Sichos. all those that have joined Project Likkutei Sichos with thousands and thousands of Chassidim, Yidden around the world that are learning the Sichos. Finally, Baruch Hashem, we finished an entire krach. Let's learn the last paragraph of the Sikha together and celebrate the Siyum. I'm sure you take out a l'chaim, celebrate with your family, celebrate this accomplishment. The Rebbe taught us to celebrate Siyumim, to glorify our Torah learning. So of course, when we're learning the Rebbe's Torah, finishing an entire krach of Likkutei Sichos, there's a reason to celebrate. So let's see the last paragraph of the Sikha. Here, in this Sikha, the Rebbe discusses the halacha of Meiser Behema. When the Meiser Behema gets a mum, so then it can't be brought as a carbon on the Mizbeach. So what has to be done with the Behema? So Rashi here says that there are two details, there are two halachas. The Rebbe brings it in the beginning of the Sikha. One is, Ye'ochel b'teiras Meiser. It should be eaten with the purpose for the sake of Meiser, for the Kedusha of Meiser. The other is, Va'asa ligazes v'liyavid. It's forbidden to shear the wool of the animal or to use it for work for any mundane purpose. So the Rebbe here in the end of the Sikha brings us a lesson of these two details regarding our Avodas Hashem. In general, a person's Avodas Hashem is divided into two categories. There is Sur Meira and there's Asei Tov. The Rebbe here brings from the Alter Rebbe in Likkutei Torah, Parshas Balak, that of course the main purpose in our life, in our Avodah is the Asei Tov, to do a mitzvah, to draw down and bring the presence of the Eibishter into the world. The Sur Meira is a preparation. The Sur Meira is preparing the place to be clean, to be holy, to be able to invite the presence of the King. So let's see the Sikha inside. Last paragraph, it's on page 136. V'hinei af shesur meira iser giza v'chulu. The category of sur meira, keeping out the negative, which here is represented in the fact that there's an iser. You have to treat this animal with kedusha, and you're not allowed to shear the wool. Hurak hakdome v'hachone lahamshachas hakedusha begiloi al yidei v'asei toif. This is only an introduction. It's just a preparation for the main Aveda, which is the Asei Tov, the positive, Ye'yochel b'teiras Meiser, the fact that it's eaten with the intention of the Kedusha of the Meiser. M'kol Mokaim, yet, what Rashi here is teaching us is, Tzarech liyos hazehirus, the Sur Meira dafke b'chol haprotim. Even in the category of Sur Meira, which seems to be only a preparation, and we're not paying so much attention to that. The main thing is the final destination, which is to bring the Shekhinah down into the world. But even here, you have to pay attention to every detail that the Sur Meira should be 100%. Umavaya Rashi, and this is what Rashi explains to us. Shezeh bebeis ha'inyanim, that this is in two areas. Isser Giza, the Isser Aveda. There's an Isser to shear the wool of the animal and an Isser to work with the animal. Meaning, Hazehiris Sarech Liyos, Heim B'ha Aveda, Hanasis Begufa Behema, whether it's regarding working with the actual body, using the body of the animal itself, the Hainu Be'inyanim Ikriyim, regarding important matters that should be done cleanly and right, the way it is al pitayra, to keep out the negative. Ve'heim Begiza, and even with shearing, shehi beside us, the hairs of the animal, which seems to be insignificant. With that as well, sha'asaitis hein es b'sarai, hatafula b'sarai. The saitis are secondary. They're not at all as important as the guf of the animal itself. The hainu hazihirus gam be'inyanim shenirim l'chayre ketfelim. The person should be meticulously careful with his Aveda of Sur Meira and pay attention to the detail, even a small detail like one hair, one strand of hair, that should be completely clean, a keli for the holiness to bring the Kedusha of the Eibishter. By serving the Eibishter with this order. This will make the proper preparation that we should have, drawing the presence of the Eibishter into the world through V'asei Tov, Lasais Loi Yizbarach Dire B'Tachtainim, to create a dwelling for the Eibishter here in this world. Conclusion of Chelek Yud-Beis, Mazel Tov to all those that concluded the Sichos over here. So just one vart over here in connection to the end of the Krach, the Rebbe is focusing on the detail. Even when it comes to Sur Meira, and you're on your way to Asei Tov, but the Rebbe says, stop, do it properly, pay attention to the detail, even one hair. I must say over here, learning all these sichos, I'm sure you've all had a tremendous experience learning the Rebbe Sichos. First and foremost, the greatest zchus of learning the Rebbe Sichos is just this itself, the hiskashus to the Rebbe, learning the Rebbe's words. When you learn the Rebbe's Torah, oisi atem loichem, you're connecting to the Rebbe with every word of Torah that you learn. That's the invaluable zchus that you have in learning the Rebbe's Torah. But besides that, there's something unique with the Rebbe Sichos, it's the details. If you learn the Sichos here, in this krach, many of the Sichos were Sichos on Rashi, other intricate Sichos in areas of Chassidus and so on. The intricate details in the Sicha. You learn a Sicha, there are so many details that the Rebbe brings together. Many times you start a Sicha and there's one question, there's another question, up to 10 questions, and then there's ha'aris, there's footnotes, and there's footnotes on the footnotes. And from all angles, the Rebbe brings it in. And sometimes, before you get to the hemshech of the Sicha, you wonder to yourself, why is the Rebbe getting stuck in so many details? Why is the Rebbe paying attention to this little detail here? And all of a sudden, you continue to the end of the Sicha, and you discover how the Rebbe takes one small detail and turns it into a key that opens up a new understanding and an entire concept. The attention to the detail, the richness of the Sichos, how the Rebbe shows you just in one little detail, it can create a completely new understanding. This is the unbelievable richness and the Ein Sof that you see in the Rebbe Sichos. As much as you learn them, you can learn it again. Every time you learn the Sicha, you can come back to it again, discuss it again. Very often when I give the Shiurim, Baruch Hashem, I'm Zoiche to give the Shiurim, the Eibusha should give me the Kayach to continue giving the Shiurim and the Sichos. Very often I give the Shiurim, and when I'm finished, I look back into the Sicha again and I see, there's another ha'ara, there's another detail, there's something I missed over here. That's the Ein Sof that we see in the Rebbe's Torah, how the Rebbe brings together so many details and threads it all together and brings an Oir Chodesh in the entire Torah in Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Seid. So, I wish you all to go Mechayel al Chayel, to have the Schos, to continue learning the Rebbe's Torah, invite others to join you in learning the Rebbe's Torah, going on to Chelek Yud-Gimmel, to the other krachim of the Rebbe, to finish Chelek Yud-Gimmel, and weiter, until the Eibusha will help. We will be zeiche, bekarev, mamish, to hear the words from the Rebbe's mouth, from the Rebbe's holy mouth, a Torah chadasha me'iti teitzei, may it be teikef u'miyad mamish. I wish you all Kabbalas HaTorah, b'simcha u'b'pnimiyas.
The Seder is that we always go from a Siyum straight to a Haskalah. We always continue to go Mailim B'Kodesh. And so from Chelek Yud-Beis, we go to Chelek Yud-Gimmel. We'll begin Chelek Yud-Gimmel together. It's in the beginning of the Sefer, Parshas Bamidbar. And the Sefer begins as follows. Ala Posik, Ish al Digloi, B'Oises Leveis Avoisam Yachanu B'nei Yisrael, Mineged, Saviv Le'il Me'ed Yachanu. The Pasuk says that each family, each person camped with his family, with his Beis Avoisam, Mineged, around the Oil Me'ed. They camped. Right, Maitik Rashi Tevas Mineged. Rashi quotes the words Mineged u'Mefarish, and Rashi explains. Mineged means Merachik mil. They were far away from the Mishkan, 1 mil. And Rashi brings a proof, K'mei shenemar b'Yeshua, Achrachik yiyeh b'nechem u'b'nav k'alpai yimama, sheyuchlu lavi b'Shabbos. That by Yeshua, the Yidden were 2,000 amas away from the Mishkan, away from the Aron, so that way they should be able to approach it on Shabbos without violating Tchum Shabbos. And Rashi compares this to over here for the same reason. The Yidden could not be more than 2,000 amas away, so that they should be able to come on Shabbos. And then Rashi concludes, Meisha, Aaron, Ubanav, V'Alavim, Cheinim b'Samuch Loi. And Moshe and Aaron's sons and the rest of the Levim, they camped closer to the Mishkan in what we know as Machane Leviyah. So we're not going to go through the whole Sicha right now, but just to share the Nekuda of the Sicha, the Rebbe explains that the word Mineged, according to Rashi, is teaching me two things. On the one hand, it had to be Merachik, there had to be a distance, so that the Yidden shouldn't come into the Beis HaMikdash, which was dangerous, but at the same time, it couldn't be too far, because they had to be able to come on Shabbos. In other words, there was a concept that although there had to be some distance, nevertheless there couldn't be too much of a distance. And not just Shabbos, but even the rest of the week, the Yidden were always never more than 2,000 amos away from the Mishkan. In a certain sense, there's a message that the Mishkan, which represents the Kedusha of the Yid, or the Mishkan represents our Beis HaMikdash, even though there are times that we have to be distanced for whatever reason, nevertheless, we're never too distant. We're always within walking distance of the Mishkan. A Yid is always within walking distance of the Mishkan. And even as we are going through the Tkufa that we are going through now, when we feel the concept of a distance, nevertheless, even in the distance, there is always a closeness. There is always of the fact that we are within Tchum Shabbos. We are within walking distance of the Mishkan. We are in walking distance of Beis Chayenu. We are in walking distance of the Geula Amitis V'Ashleima. Of course, this is just a beginning, a glimpse, and from this Haschala, which we Mailin B'Kodesh, should go from strength to strength through the entire Sefer and into the next Svarim, Be'ezras Hashem. And with this, I would like to wish everyone Mazel Tov. Those of you who are Mesayimim tonight, who have completed the Sefer, Mazel Tov. Those of you who have learned parts of the Sefer, Mazel Tov and Yashar Koyach on your accomplishments. And together may we go, Mechayil El Choyil, learning together, connecting with one another, connecting with our Rebbe. And even those who, over the course of time, although the Achlota was a Achlota Takifa, it was a true and honest pledge, but nevertheless over time, circumstances have caused that we are not doing as much as we intended, as much as we had hoped. Nevertheless, when we come to a new Sefer, it's an opportunity to have a fresh start and to once again jump onto the wagon. And like we mentioned before, there are so many options. If you can't do it b'iyun, do it without iyun. If you can't do the whole sikha, do an insight or do a summary, 10 minutes. But the important thing is that we should learn together, that we should do more today than we did yesterday, and more next week than we're doing this week. And may from this simcha, the simcha of the Siyum, may we go together to the ultimate simcha, to the simcha of the Geula Amitis V'Ashleima. Take it from Miyad Mamos.
Sing the fish in Chodos, the Chelek Yud-Beis. Yiru Rabbi v'yiru v'yiftechu v'Hashem. Sing the fish in Chodos, the Chelek Yud-Beis. Yiru Rabbi v'yiru v'yiftechu v'Hashem. I know Sam Hashem lochem le'ein lo das le'einayim lirot ve'oznayim. I know Sam Hashem lochem le'ein lo das le'einayim lirot ve'oznayim lishmoya. Yiradai la da 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 la 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 ya yam. Yiradai la da 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 la 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 ya yam. Mi baruch Hashem Chelek Yisroel, mi yino yilom ve'yado. Baruch Hashem Chelek Yisroel, mi yino yilom ve'yado yilom omen ve'omen. I sing the fish in Chodos, the Chelek Yud-Beis. Yiru Rabbi v'yiru v'yiftechu v'Hashem. I sing the fish in Chodos,